chosen generation. We've been called to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, and I know who I am. We are a chosen generation. We've been called to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, for I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I'm working in power. I'm working miracles. I live the life of faith. For I know who I am. I'm working in power. I'm working miracles. I live the life of faith. For I know who I am. We are a chosen generation. We've been called to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, and I know who I am. We are a chosen generation. We come to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me. I know who God says I am. What He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I know who God says I am. What He says I am, where He says. Hello, hi everyone.
Hello, hi everyone. Good evening. Welcome. Um, my name is Adeolu Adesanya, and I'll be anchoring the session this evening. Um, I'm just waiting for a few minutes for one or two people to join us. In the next few minutes, we have others joining us. Then I'll be able to introduce our guest for today. So just settle down, make yourself feel comfortable, get yourself a cup of water, a drink, relax, and it's definitely gonna be a powerful, informative, exciting session. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. We'll be starting the program soon. Just waiting for a few more people to join us. Thank you for joining us. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. All right. Good good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. We're happy to have you here. This is gonna be like the maiden edition of this kind of talk show. So we're happy to have you here. The title is Living with a Purpose and how our skills, our values and our principle comes into it. Um, Permit me to introduce our guest for today. Um, I will be adding him onto the screen now. Okay, that's good. I'm hoping you can see our guest. So I'm so excited for today. Our guest for today is my great brother. I've known him for over 10 years now,
Yeah.
and over the years we've been keeping in touch. I've learned quite a lot from him. I respect him quite a lot, and that is why I'm honored to have him here. His name is Oluwatunbi Oluwa Akindayomi. Um, Thank you, sir. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Hello. Hi. Good evening. How are you doing?
Great. I hope you can all hear us. I hope the audio and the video is clear. I can hear you, sir.
Okay,
Thank
that's
you
fine.
for thank you for joining us. Um, without not wasting much time, I think we just go straight into the program. So
Uh,
the but before we do that, obviously I know you. But I think it would be great for the audience to also know a bit about you. So, can you tell the audience a little bit about you, sir?
thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Adeolu. And I just want to use this opportunity to say evening to everyone watching us out there. And I hope it will be a good time. My name is Oluwatunbi Akindayomi. Uh, I'm a founder of If Not For God. If Not For God is a platform that will share daily nuggets and is we use it for helping people to find their purpose in life with different kind of content and daily experience. And sometimes when God was you needed. And also, I run a media platform called 247 Nigeria News Update. I've always been a lover of information, and there is nothing better than to share it. So this prompted me to start like a news media online, and I think that's a bit about me for now. But we get a lot.
Yeah, actually, you saying that kind of reminds me that we kind of share the same passion in terms of using word to express um feelings, emotion, and what this case and the talent God has given to us and how we express it to make impact. So I just remember this when we reading the daily devotional, if not for God.
Yeah.
And thank you for that. Thank you
Yeah,
for the introduction.
that one actually came up. I was 2000 and I started doing my daily devotional around 2009, but
Yeah, that's
it was electronic, not paper one. Then by God's grace, we still do what we can do to just reach out to people day to day. And that prompted me, I think in 2010, that I published a book called God the Good Shepherd as well. And I hope by God's grace we still have more to come.
Great, great. Thank you for that. God is good shepherd. We
Yeah.
can't wait to read that, and God will continue to uphold you and strengthen you as you
Amen.
continue to bless us with whatever skills God has given you. Um, so going straight to the topic for today. The topic is living with a purpose. Your skills, your values and principles. Um, uh, sorry.
I'm with
Okay.
you.
Okay. Good. So I was thinking about how our values and our principles help us to live a purposeful life, and that is how the topic comes to be. I think it was last week you were sharing some nuggets on WhatsApp, and that kind of bring out the topic, and I was like inspired that it should not only be me that should be listening to this. We need a wider audience to listen to this and learn from what you are going to share with us today. So, when we are talking about values and principles, what are your take on this?
So when we talk about values, we are referring to our moral beliefs, ethic, and our goals, whether big or small. That is value because something you believe in. For some people, why some people, for you to then achieve your value, you must able to have some principle for it. So for some people, their principle could be going to bed early. The value of going to bed early is to wake up early. I'm trying to bring it to the best way.
Yes,
Way.
yeah, I
So,
understand that.
and the purpose of going to bed early is to wake up early, and so that you can have a productive day. Like what to do, to study, to do well in school. I'm sure we always encourage our children to go to bed early because we know it works.
Yes, early to bed, early to rise.
And some people, maybe like when we grow older, sometimes we get into day-to-day activities that takes away that early to bed, early to rise out of our life. And this is why some people develop the habit of going to early jogging in the morning before going to work, because they believe if they can get that time, they will be able to perform well during the day and so on. So there are different ways we can look into principles and value. But principle, we shouldn't forget that principle always guide our values. Principle only guides our value. And without a solid principle, our value is in a doubt. So, because
Okay,
we don't have a solid principle to guide our value, there is no way we can achieve it. So, some people have this principle that they will never wear branded clothes, like wearing big names, things like that. Doesn't make them little, or they don't know the worth of. They just feel, why should I waste money on a maybe big
designer.
big name when I can? It's just clothes. It has no value to my life. Why other way around? Some people, principles are rules that we set. Why values are is the quality of it.
Okay,
Then value helps to form principle. Why principle are based on what someone's value, which I said earlier on. Our values are beliefs, moral beliefs, and ethic. So it depends. It can go on. Then you now say, how can we? The question again talks about. You say um, about purposeful life. Our principle help us to live a purposeful life.
yes,
Is that what you said?
correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. In that aspect, like To live a purposeful life is when you are moving towards a goal in your life that align with your values, passion, and makes you happy. Like the film, I want this a film of Will Smith called. I'm sure you might have seen, A Pursuit of Happiness.
Yes.
In life, we're all looking for happiness. We
Mm.
want to be happy. I don't want trouble. I don't want drama. But if you live on there's no way you will not those things will not come. So we set some principle that will not allow anything to take those happiness away from us.
Okay.
So that's why I say the quality, the value is the quality, the
Yeah.
principle. Just like every country that you see that is doing well today, like let's take UK for example, the UK
Mm.
you are,
Yes.
they set some rules. Don't when you're if you're driving, you shouldn't go beyond certain mile per hour.
Correct. Yes.
They are trying to protect accident,
Yeah.
death, all of that. Those rules
Yeah.
are set not because they don't want you to drive. Why did they make a car that has 120 when they don't want us to use it? So what's the point? But someone decided that let's set this so that we can achieve this. So if you don't set a solid principle, then it will be hard for you to achieve your value.
Okay. I that actually there's a lot of clarity in what you said. I kind of understand it. But permit me to, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna paraphrase now just to get a bit more understanding of what principle and value is. So is principle some kind of like maybe some kind of like inputs, and then values are like what comes out from those like output sort of. Does
Yes,
that relate?
yeah, principle are what we set to get the value. That's why the value is the quality of the thing.
Yeah, that comes out from the principles.
Yes, because if there are no principle, a solid one, then our value is in a doubt. Like Christ, for example, I can use. Let me use Jesus Christ's case as well. That's why I'm trying to use different
Case
scenarios.
scenario. Yes, correct. Yeah.
Jesus Christ's purpose was to come to this earth. He could have become what you can ever think of
Yeah.
in in place in the Bible, and there was a Bible quote that said, "I could have been rich, but I decided to be what? To be poor, so that you can be rich." In all
Mhm.
ramification, all of that.
Yeah.
So he's trying to tell you my value, the reason why I'm here is to achieve this, not because for me to come and do this. You understand? Even
Yes.
when Satan was trying to tempt him to jump from the top of the temple, he could
Yes.
have done that because he said he didn't come here to impress anyone, and he
Mhm.
has to prove to Satan. Sometimes we live people's life.
Yeah.
Some of us, I'm sure you've heard this word before, when people say, "Don't you have values for your life?"
Mm.
You understand? Sometimes we
Yeah.
we need to know what we want for us to set some principle. But if you don't know yourself or don't know your value, then there is nothing to set. You just live a lifeless life. You just live as you like. But
Yeah.
when you get to maybe you're trying to avoid going into debt, and
Yes.
maybe you earn as little as 1,000 even in a month. Trust me, some people will set a principle that I will never eat outside. I will never eat outside
Yeah.
because it's going to cost me a lot of money. So that is
Mhm.
principle. Principle is like
Yes.
that's why I say it's like a law. Like I will not do the beyond this because if you do
Yes.
that, then you will break the value. Then the value will
Yeah.
not. It will definitely be in the doubt.
Yeah. And obviously, the result of that, which are the values, is like you are more cost efficient in your spending, and you, yeah, that's kind of that's kind of makes me understand everything more. Because I was going to ask before if there is a difference or if there's a correlation between the two concepts. But yeah, that helps to bring clarity. So thank you very much for that.
So like what we say, if they're different, the difference there is you have to do one to get one, but you have to
Yeah,
identify one to able to set one. If there is no
correct.
if there is no value, then there is no post of principle for that something. So may it go. There are some you will go to if you go to Central London sometime, you see some people they don't mind to line up in the queue for the for the rest of the day because they just want to
Yeah.
get sales because they like
Yeah.
all the things. They want to wear this, but they could not afford that money, and they've already said their limit that I cannot buy a shirt for £100 for what? But they still want to live that lifestyle.
Yes. Yeah.
They will always wait for sales. So they've set their value, they put limit to what they do and all of that. So it comes different way of life.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'll be able to answer your question correct.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much for that response. I really appreciate that. My next question, because I'm a little bit conscious of the time as well. So my next question is, in terms of living like with a purpose, to
Hmm.
what extent does our upbringings and our physical environment influence what we've come, how we make up our principles and our values. So, or are this like something like you are born with? Like, if my dad said that I'm not going to be eating outside, does that make the son also to adopt those kind of set of principles? Using your example. So yeah, the question again is, to what extent does our upbringings and our physical environment influence our principles?
Hmm. I'll try and break it
Into
later.
two. Yeah. Okay, cool.
But I like using things that what we are familiar with.
Yes.
So, or like I say, like at Eve Not for God, every day we try to use use all sorts of things to encourage people or motivate them using day-to-day issue because there is nothing as for example, Jesus Christ wanted to explain things to the people how important they are, and he said, "Look at the lily of the look at the lily in the grass, how beautiful they are." That you understand
Yes.
that comparing that to King Solomon. You know, King Solomon was the wealthiest person on earth.
Yes.
When he was using the bed, how father cares for his children. He said they wake up in the morning and they go out and they come back, but God provide their means for them.
Mm-hmm.
And how does our upbringing
Evelyn.
affect their value? There is a
Yeah.
song when I was young, when I was very young. I school at Ibadan. I lived all my life in Lagos, but I went to Ibadan. And
Okay.
when we went to Challenge, there is this guy, there is a place called Challenge in Ibadan, for those that does not know. And
Yeah.
they always play all sorts of music at the garage.
High
And
life and jujus.
sometimes there's this song of King's Wasia in the that always come up.
Yeah.
The song I'm not a good musician, so my voice was
Okay.
not good. I would try to go through the beats of it, and I would just explain what he was trying to say. There's
Okay.
there's this song for those that does not understand Yoruba. I will just try to explain it. But the song goes that ìyá mi bàbá wọn bí mi dá èmi gangan mo tún túnra bí lórúkọ mi ṣe ń. You know that song?
Yeah, definitely. That.
If I even interpret Yoruba better, that maybe you share me to interpret that, then it will make it more sense. Or I don't want to be father.
Like
But
you are brought up, then you
as
kind
well,
of have to
my
go
parents
through the
have
process
given
of being
back to
reborn.
me. My parents
Yeah.
have given back to me. So at
Yeah.
some point in my life, I need to reborn,
Mm-hmm.
or else I will not able to become something in life or what I'm supposed to be. There are
Definitely.
sometimes you go to YouTube, you see people comparing, oh, this is a white parent, this is a black parent, this is
Yeah.
American, this thing. You see those
Mm-hmm.
kind of things. When you look at them, sometimes people just laugh. And then I look into them, I see it's sort of less. And that's just true. We try to cage our children
Yes.
because we want to discipline them, because we love them, no doubts about that. We want to cage them to certain things. Trust me, if my son decides to carry paint or this and start painting my wall now, I will be very upset. And when you
Obviously.
look at those people, you see some white people, they say, "Oh, you even made it like this." They do it that like so. He has given them freedom of speech, able to
Creativity,
become themselves.
expression.
You understand? So
Yeah.
they are not afraid to try.
Mm-hmm.
You know that they are
Yeah.
not like in the future. Maybe when they are growing up, you see some kids. That's why they struggle to even choose to to just choose a course. You should be able to know what you want to do. You will see someone like, I don't know what I want to do or what I want to become.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to break it down. And
Definitely, I understand that.
yeah,
Yeah.
even Jesus Christ, when he came to the world, he once said, he said, like, okay, let me use our Lord's Prayer. He said, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, and as it is in heaven. So I'm trying to give you what happened in the heaven. This is just a taste. You
Hmm.
understand?
Yes.
So trying to live the Father life here on earth.
Yeah.
You understand? For us to able to live life. Then going back to your question, how does it impact our life?
Yeah.
Something we want to become maybe our father when we are grown up. So I like to be like that. I would like to be like mommy.
Yeah.
But exposure is very good in life.
Mhm.
There are something that I'm not trying to disrespect, but there are something that my father, I would think I will have listened to my father then, but I will not listen now.
Yeah.
Because I realize these are things they believe at their own time. Things have changed. I started using first time I bought myself a mobile phone back
Yeah.
home when
Yeah.
MTN came to Nigeria. I think it was 99 2000. I can't remember actually. Actually, I know it was between 99 to 2000.
Okay.
And that means I didn't have chance to use a phone when I was in my 10th or teenager. But my
Yeah.
daughter, my son can operate phone, they can put password, they can do that. You
Sure.
understand? By the
Yes.
time they grow up, there are things they will learn from us, from me and their mom, but
Yes.
sorry, but still, time will change. It now depend on that child to not
Mhm.
like look at I don't think I fit in into this life that
Area
my
anymore.
so it's not
Yeah.
left for us for to now change or not. We've seen a
Mm.
lot of people leaving Islamic to Christianity.
Mhm.
We see a lot of people because they from home that they can never wear trousers or skirts and they just believe it like that. But
Yeah.
one thing I always say to myself, no matter who you are, I don't want to judge you. Like
Mm.
my grandmother will always say, he say,
Yeah.
try to make excuse for people or giving
Yeah.
them their way does not mean that you're losing who you are.
Yeah.
And one of the principle that my grandmother gave to me when because then I was in command then. So when we have like 3 days, I'll just like decide to go to a place at Abeokuta instead of me
Okay.
going to Lagos because I just want a place that someone can spoil me, grandma, granny and
True. Yeah.
people. So, but she said to me, there is when I now say, "Oh, grandma, please come and give me small money now." This it's a but your father gave you money when you are going to school of that kind of. I say it has finished. Some of my friends have borrowed their money, and I don't know whether they're going to give me back. And she
Yeah.
said to me, "Never borrow someone money you cannot."
Yeah.
Do you get that? As
Mm.
in, never borrow someone money you
You
cannot give.
cannot.
Give
Okay.
because
Yeah.
like there is another saying that say "Owolombojo oreje,"
Correct.
like
Yes.
money can cause quarrel between two best friends.
Yeah.
So instead of if someone asks me for £1,000 and I know that £1,000, trust me, if I don't get it in next 1 month or 1 week,
You will struggle.
it's not for me to struggle. This guy must pay for it or something must
Yeah.
happen. You
Must
understand?
deliver. Yeah.
Something must happen. If he doesn't give me this money, something must happen because
Yeah.
that money will cost so many things.
Yes.
So in that situation, what did I learn from my mother from the principle of that is that I will now look at £1,000. That's a lot of money. Hey, Mr. Adeolu, what if I give you £100?
Not
And
borrow, give.
yeah, you understand. If
Yeah.
I give you
Yeah.
because things are fine, I don't want, and I know you're a good person. I will make
Yeah.
that excuse for it to make it true. It's not that I'm lying. It's my
Yeah.
principle. But if I
Mhm.
now realize that I can borrow that 1,000 without no stress,
Yeah.
or if I still have up to 200, 300, or 500, I cannot say, okay, I'll give you 300. But if
Yeah.
things change, maybe I can do that. Not
Yeah.
because I don't want something that will make me to start looking at your face. Like
Yeah. Definitely.
where we are from, they say, Majekin Wojo, those kind of things.
Mhm. Yeah.
It might sound like, oh, maybe my mother, but I know it has worked for me.
Mhm. Definitely.
It's hard for me I try to help as much as I can.
Yeah.
But when it comes to borrowing, if I don't have what you ask for, I
Yeah.
will look if I can meet in the center. But if I
Mm-hmm.
cannot meet at the center and I look at what I want to borrow, it does not even add up at all. Like it's too far. But if I can contribute to it, I think it will be a lot. Like, can I just meetings and truly it might be for me to say that it's not that I'm lying. Things might actually be tight for that
Yeah.
end, but for me not to able to borrow you even 300 or 500, but just to contribute, not to like I let you down in one way. And not that I'm trying to please you, but because I
Yeah.
cannot give that 50 pound without not thinking about it.
Correct.
So
Yes. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
yeah,
And before I move on to the next question, I just want to quickly tell the audience that if you have any questions that you want to share or any comment or contribution, please feel free and I'll be sharing it on the screen as well as we go on. Thank you so much for the response. Actually, I can relate with it, especially when you said that one of the principles is you only give money that you can give away. You don't borrow money that is gonna cost you hardship later when you don't get it back.
yeah,
And that also explains the also is a good response to the question because you're basically saying that even though we can extract some principles or the one that we'll be able to relate with from our parents or from our upbringings, but we also have to be reborn and be able to adopt some principles for our own self that we'll be able to use for our own personal life.
yeah. Let me quickly chip another one. You remember the story of this general that came to Jesus Christ, Nicodemus,
Yes.
and the man had been watching Jesus Christ. He was a rich man. He's not a poor man. He has nothing. He has lived his life to the fullness. He has
Mm-hmm.
general in the army. He's like so. He's a centurion. Let me use the word that he was.
Yes,
So
centurion. Yeah.
yeah, and he came to Jesus Christ and he said, You've been talking about you have to born again, you have to born again. I said, how can we be born again? He didn't even go during the day. That is how much more he's trying to. Maybe it could be. I tried to think in the different direction. Like they say, life is always two-sided, like head or tail. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe I tried to go at the night time. Maybe
Yeah.
Jesus would have calmed down with all these people following him. He wanted a nice time with Jesus Christ or things like that. But the other
Yeah.
way around, maybe he's just trying to hide himself and he does not want people to know that he's associating himself with Jesus Christ. So they say he went at
Mm-hmm.
it was nighttime he went. And he asked that question. And Jesus Christ said, you have to be born again. And he said, how do you sometimes when I read Bible, I try not to be spiritual about it. I think that's why we miss it. Because these are where people that live like us in their own.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They were not
So
like people that drop from heaven, they now put all of them together into the Bible.
correct. Yes.
So he said to him, I'm sure in his head, you're like, born again, as in, as old as I am. Do you expect me to go back to my mother's room? He didn't think of anything, he just think of the born.
Yes, that's how it
You
understands it. Yes.
understand? So
Yeah.
you don't expect me to go back to my mother's room and this and that. Then Jesus Christ now explain to you how to be born of water, this and that. So sometimes we all have, we are lost.
Mm-hmm.
We are lost at one point in our life. But
Yes.
for us to really go back to it, we need to able to first. That is when the value comes. What am I living for? If you don't know what
Mm.
you're living for, then there is no point. It will be hard for you to set it. It's just like setting a route for what iPhone came. Samsung is there, and Samsung iPhone will say if you're going to put your card on Apple Pay, you must
Yeah.
put there must be a password. You cannot have when I first had my password and I put my password, my wife say, "Why do I have to put password?" I say, "I'm not putting it for you because I'm just putting it because it has to be there because
Yeah.
without it, my password I give you is a
Yeah.
principle because if
Yeah.
that is not being in place, then
Yes.
anybody can use your this thing,
Okay.
your Apple Pay for your card. Do you
Yeah.
get my point?
I
So
definitely understand.
so
Yeah.
all of that are what it was. So we learn something from our parents. You see, some people they know how to spend less.
Yeah.
Our upbringing, there is no way it's not affecting our life. But at some point in our life, we can readjust something, we polish some things, but there is no way. our upbringing can just fly away from us. Never.
Okay, definitely, definitely. And And in to further buttress that question, I was thinking about the extent to which we take like ownership of our actions. In the sense like even though we might be guided by certain principles which
Mm.
we've or you've maybe collected or accumulated from your parents, but in the process of being reborn and forming your own identity,
Mm.
while you are getting the benefits or the good results from those principles,
Mm.
um, you should be also be able to own up to any challenges you face in the course and be able to take responsibility of your actions and instead of like shifting the blame like oh because it's not my fault, it's my dad that made me the way I am, you know what I mean, because your dad has a certain way of doing this, that means that you are.
Motivation for you while you're growing up.
You understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So, in terms of living with a purpose, we should, in the process of reborning and forming the identity, the principle, our guiding principle, we should be able to take complete ownership of that at some point and be able to run with it without having to shift blame or side that kind of thing. Yeah. Anyway, moving on from that, and this will probably be the last question, I
Okay.
hope, because it's supposed to be 30 minutes. I was thinking it's going to be 30 minutes, but we've run to up to 40 minutes now.
No,
And
that's fine as long as you have the time. So it's best for
all right,
it's best for
okay, so
the past than for the. It's not like that's another thing that we're trying
yeah,
to talk about. There is principle. You said 30 minutes, and the quality has it been achieved?
hmm,
Do you get what I mean?
I understand. Yes,
That's why sometimes people go to a place of worship, they go to places to want to get results. Let me tell you this: this life is very. We are all going on the same direction, and that is
hmm,
why I say to live purposeful life. You are looking for happiness. You
yes,
understand? You see people going back to church same day, same time. There were times in my life I struggle with. I don't want to even go to church anymore. What's the point of me going to the same place every day? Is it that I'm not learning or I'm not gaining, or why should I be in church every Sunday to go and do? I know the Bible says Psalm 1 says that we should read our Bible day and night. You understand? I
yeah,
didn't go to church day and night. I'm just using it as an example.
yeah,
So
I understand. Yeah,
that's another part of my life when I start breaking away from things that maybe I dare not do with my father or growing up. When I was saying,
yeah, because
so
yeah, you'll be forced to do that.
yeah, I believe so much in God's word, and I believe
Hmm.
so much in Jesus Christ, and I believe so much in the gospel. But the
Yeah,
point is that there are some things that I now check that why are things like that? Just like what you said that our time is running. Yeah, fair enough. Our time is running up, but is the point for the show or for the moment? Do they get it? Or at the end of the day, like that, I just wasted my time. I did not even get what they say. What was all about.
exactly.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
trying to say? So
Yeah,
some
understand.
people set a rules, and when that rules does not get that value out of it,
Yeah,
that's why I see some people like
yeah,
they will do what they have to do. They will. That's why we create extra thing to
yeah.
make sure that value is achieved.
Brilliant.
People will
Thank
go
you.
extra miles for that
Yeah.
value to be achieved.
Thank thank you so much. And finally, on a final question,
Mm.
living a purposive life, is it like a deliberate act? I think you've probably talked about it a little bit earlier. But is it something that can happen accidentally, or there are certain things we must do to live a life, to live a purposeful life?
I can make it in a sentence. I can go on about this because, like,
Okay.
this is. I can just say this is why we set a principle. Like I
Yeah.
said, how does different life challenges affect our purpose? Is that what you're saying?
Like to live living with a purpose, is it
Yeah.
something we have to do? Is it like a deliberate action we have to do intentionally,
Mm.
or is this something that can happen accidentally?
Yeah, okay, fair enough. So there's so many things that brings all these together. Like, okay, for instance, um, like I was using there was a friend of mine that you will never you always encourage him that, oh, don't do this, don't do that. But sometimes you let people to make mistake to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And when you make some mistake, you will now realize that you will now understand why your parents are trying to let you, they are trying to encourage you or advise you not to do something. Our
Yeah.
parents, our parents have reason why they say, "Oh, don't go to club." It's not that even some of them have not even been there before because they never even had the chance.
Yeah.
They've never been there before, but they're just trying to protect us not to do it.
Yeah.
And when we look at, let's go back to the basic Ten Commandments. If
Mm.
you look at Ten Commandments, A to Z, God does not need those things. These are sets to guide us. Not for God. God does not need it. God does not need to sin. He's
To
not going
protect
to,
us.
God is
Yeah.
not going to kill anyone. He's not a
Mm.
killer. You
Yeah.
understand? But when they brought the woman to Jesus Christ, the woman caught in the act.
Yeah.
And when they said to Jesus Christ, "Oh, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. What do you think we should do?" And he said to them, "You know what you should do, because that's the principle. You want to stone her to death, you want to do all of that."
Yeah.
And the point when they now left, to fast forward everything, when they left, Jesus Christ now said to her, "Where are your accuser?" He said, "They've gone." He said, did any of them condemn you? He said, "No." He said, "Neither me." Jesus Christ was not able to condemn her.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Jesus Christ now said, "Go and sin no more." So my point is this: what Jesus Christ is just trying to say, I may not be here tomorrow.
Yes.
We don't have this chance tomorrow. They could have
Yeah.
stoned you to death and
Mm-hmm.
you just go. So sometimes people make mistake. They learn in the hard way to understand why this principle are set. Why some people before they just have it inborn, like you say, like they've been the way they brought them up, they used to like all these things, don't do this. I know right from childhood why my parent does not want me to do this. I know why my parent does not want me to drink. It's not because alcohol is a sin or it's not a sin, but I
Yeah.
can drink too much and go to club, and like a female person can end up and not know when they are having a sex with someone, and
Yeah.
I'm putting the value of someone that don't even have feelings for or would have loved to, then
Yeah.
losing that kind of things too. It could be the same vice versa. A guy that is not prepared to settle down to have a child. That's why we
Yeah.
have, sorry to say, for maybe baby mother out there. It's not that I'm trying to make a name. That's why you
Yeah. I
see
understand.
people end up becoming baby mother because of the acts of, even it might not be their own cause and it could be,
Yeah.
but because they, if that's all, maybe if they were not in the wrong place, someone will have not picked them, or don't be outside at night time. I know there's nothing scary sometimes, especially the part of the world we are, but
Yeah.
somewhere
Mm.
in Nigeria, being outside or at 12 midnight, going through Yaba, going through under bridge and all of that, anything could happen. So this is why all these things are needed. If
Yeah.
it will protect you.
Yeah.
But it's good
Definitely.
for us.
Yeah. My dad usually says that it's always good to learn from other people's mistake
Yeah.
instead of learning from your mistake, because that makes you don't have to go through all the challenges they went through because you've already learned from their mistake. But at the same time, there's also this popular adage that says that experience is the best teacher. So sometimes when we go through certain things ourselves, we form a much deeper understanding and be able to um do the right thing or be able to learn from those experiences anyway. Anyway, I think that brings us to the end of this
And
interesting conversation.
before you we go, just
Yes.
like what that you learned from your dad, and there is
Yes.
another saying to that. We say, if you don't learn from other people's mistake, you will become the mistake that people will learn from.
Mm, mm,
Do you
mm.
understand?
That is yeah.
So
That's deep.
very
Yeah.
important. in life. If you don't want to learn, once very soon, people will like, oh, you remember Adeolu, what the,
Mm-hmm.
you become the
Yeah.
people,
Their
and people
their
will
point
come.
of reference. Yeah.
You understand?
Definitely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, my
Thank
brother.
and thank you so much for our viewers, the audience. Thank you so much for the comments. I'm sorry, there's not enough time to share some of the questions. But I'm sure we'll be having this type of conversations. This is the first of many, hopefully, in Jesus' name. Anyway, so thank you, Bratumbi, for this
Thank you so much.
opportunity,
Thank you. So much.
and thank
I'm
you,
happy to have his
everybody.
wife and the family, and for everyone
Uh,
who spend their time to watch. Thank you, guys, and
Thank you so much. Thank you for having you. Thank you, everybody.
you're
Thank you,
welcome.
sir.
Yeah,
All right.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.